Welcome back to another episode of Frank's Unsolicited Advice. And this week was relieving in a sense for me. I finished my class towards my master's. Decided to take a break because I'm focusing on something different. I felt like I was stretching myself too thin. I was pulling in different directions between work, projects in the house, studying for this licensing, and doing my class. It was a lot on my plate. And for the first time, I felt like I wasn't in control of what I wanted to do or what I was doing. And which, for me, that creates a problem. I like to have a plan. I like to follow the plan. I like to stick to the plan. When you throw a wrinkle in that plan, it throws me off and I got to regroup, which is weird. You would think that me being in the military for so long, I'm used to curveballs being thrown at me and getting me to readjust. We're taught to readjust, adapt, and overcome. But that I was feeling stressed. And I would tell my friends, like, I stress myself thin. Who told me to take this class for my master's? You know what I'm saying? Who told me to go for my master's? Why am I going for my master's? Why am I doing all these different things? And that's what I want to talk about today, is the why. And the why could be the bigger picture, like my mother says. What's the bigger picture? What's your bigger picture? And what are you going to do to get to where you want to be? I've said in previous episodes and recordings, you can't hang out with broke people and be a millionaire. You can't hang out with fat people and talk about you want to lose weight. You can't hang out with people that are cheating all the time and say, I want to be faithful. You have to surround yourself around people that are on the same page as you, because then they're going to, normally you guys gravitate and push each other to the next level. And that's what you have to do. When you have a why, you have to do whatever it takes to get to that why, to complete that task, right? So for me, my why has changed over the years. As I said in the previous episode, what motivated me and my friends when we were 18, 17, 16 is not the same thing as what motivates me now at 40, almost 41. My circumstances have changed. I went from having one kid at 17 to having 3 children now total at 40, having a wife. My responsibilities are different. My experience in life is different. My growth is different. My experience, everything is different. And while I still have some aspects of me that are the same, there's other aspects of me that are not. So I was sitting on a Zoom call yesterday, and it's about training for a business that I'm getting into, that I am a part of, I should say. And it's Wells Financial Group, and we deal with financial literacy, helping people out with their finances, showing them different ways to save money, maybe set up a better retirement, and they've opened my eyes to it. And that's what made me want to become part of this company, is that I can help others become educated. Whether they decide to do business with me or not, that's something totally different, but at least you're educated. And that's what I took the test for, the licensing test I took on I can't remember the date, but I took on the 10th. No, it wasn't the 10th, the 14th. And I didn't pass it. I wasn't ready. What I scored on the test is what I've been scoring on the practice test the whole time. But like I said at the beginning of this, I was overwhelmed. I was stretching myself thin. It wasn't that I can't understand the material. It's just that I wasn't allowing myself. I was putting my mind in too many different ways. And it's okay to say that I need to take a break or take a step back and realize. So, I was on the Zoom call. I told my trainer, Pierre, that, hey, once I'm done with my class, I'll start dedicating more time to the training. And I decided, so this weekend I've taken the time for that. I also took leave, and I did that thinking my mom was coming to visit. It didn't come visit. So now I'm just here. So I'm going to use that time for the better, study, take this test again, pass it, and allow myself to start growing. So I was on the Zoom training, and Pierre's friend is, talking, and he asked the new people if they had any questions that they wanted to ask. Well, I did. And I asked him, I said, how do you manage your time? Because they're full time doing this business. A lot of us are part time. So with everything going on, and I sometimes feel like my situation with the Navy is very different than other people's situation. You know, I don't think too many people are waking up at 5 a.m. just to go to work and then walking a mile from the parking lot to the ship, you know, in an industrial environment and all that other stuff. So I feel like the situation is different, but you know, who knows? Maybe somebody else is doing the same thing. So, and he tells me, he says, "What's your why?" And the why is the purpose of what I'm doing this for. And I said, well, he said, sometimes we have a why and it's okay to regroup and change the why or adjust the why to help us elevate to a higher level. And he, you know, to be younger than me, there's a lot of things that he hit on the head that pertain to me. And for the first time in a while, I felt like somebody understood where I was coming from. And he says to me, he goes, "I'm sure that when you joined the Navy, you had to follow before you were able to lead." I said, "Yeah, I did." He goes, "Well, this is it. You know, even though you have certain accolades and you've reached certain level and you have an identity, you're doing something new. So even though you have all these traits that maybe some people don't have coming into this business, at least you already have it. You can build on that, but you have to learn how to follow first." And I was like, man, that's so true. That is so true. I felt like this whole week I was getting gems dropped on me, you know, from random people. Ty gave me a piece of advice, and I was like, man, you know what? And he didn't even know what I was dealing with, but he said something, and it resonated. I said, man, you know, I appreciate you saying that because I needed that. I needed that. I don't think he even knew that, but he just gave me a piece of advice, and I said, man, that's so true because it resonates. So you know how sometimes you're talking to somebody and they say something or they give you this gem and you're like, man, how did he know? Or how did she know? And I just really feel that when that happens, that's a blessing that you didn't, you know, that was put there because whether you believe in God or not, I do. He put that message there to make me feel better. Just like that Zoom call I had made me feel better. Just like the 3-hour training I sat on yesterday on a Zoom call with the lead guy in California dropped some gems on us that I was like, man, you know what? It's true. And so when you have your why, what are you going to do to get to your why, your bigger picture? Are you going to let people stop you from getting to where you want to be? Are you going to let your fears stop you from getting to where you want to be? Are you going to let things deter you because people don't see it like you see it or don't want to see it? No, you're not. You shouldn't. And I've been letting that happen in the past. I did. I would sit there and I'm like, man, I don't talk to this person like that. So I'm not going to call this person up and tell them what I'm doing because I feel like that's fake. But the more question or the better question is, would that person call me if they were doing something and wanted me to support? And the answer is yes, they would. They would call. They're not going to, oh, I ain't talked to Frank in 6, 7, 8 months, a year. Oh, they're going to hit me with like, yo, bro, saw your face on Facebook, saw your post, how you been? How's everything going? I saw you on Instagram or I saw your Twitter. And then, you know, you create a conversation. Luckily for me, I've been trained to know when you're trying to build rapport with me. So I already know you're going to come to throw a pitch. And sometimes I'd just rather you throw the pitch than feed me BS. So are you going to let that? No. And the answer is no. And I need to change that. I needed to realize that. You know why? Because everybody's going to do what they got to do for themselves, whether it's to feed their family, set up themselves for success later on, get to the next platform. They're going to do it with or without you. So guess what? Live your life for your why. What's your why in life? Why did you do this? What is your major goal? If your goal is just to have certain things, then so, okay. What are you going to do to get those things? We're all different. You know, my daughter wants a tiny house to put in the backyard, my youngest, of our house, so she could always live there. You know what I'm saying? So if that's her why, what is she going to do to get to that why? My son, you know, he does his music. So if that's his why, what is he going to do to his why? And I'm going to tell you what he's doing to his why. Let me just get a sip of water. Hold on. His why is his music, right? My son went and got a job at McDonald's. He did the training last week. He starts Monday. went and got a job. He went and got that job because he wants to make money. He doesn't want to rely on us for certain things. He wants to be able to buy his own things. That's his why he went and did it. And I'm going to tell you why I respect him for that. Because I wouldn't work at McDonald's. Growing up, I just, that wasn't my thing. Now, not to say that McDonald's is a bad job, because it's not. It's a stepping stone. And for some people as managers and stuff, and they make money, that's fine. It's just a hectic kind of lifestyle, and not all, unless you have the educational background or the experience, you're not starting at a managerial position. You're starting at the bottom. So for me, when I was 16, 17, 15, I didn't see that where I wanted to be. But then again, I had a different outlook on life. I was looking at things differently. That's another episode. But it wasn't because I wasn't raised right. It's just what I saw growing up was very different. And that's what I thought I wanted, So, but he went and did that. That's to feed his why. And I'm proud of him. I'm also proud of him because he actually put music. It's on Tidal. It's on Apple. That's steps. He's leaps and bounds at 16. That's what he's doing. He's not scared. So that's his why. His why is he wants to be maybe rich, famous. Who knows? But whatever that is, that's what he's pushing for. And that's dope. So again, what are you going to do to get to your why? Are you going to allow outside influences stop you from your why? Are you going to let this pandemic stop you from getting to your why? I was listening to church today, watching it on TV. And the preacher was basically, from what I received from the message, was positive and a negative. COVID, it could be a positive thing or it could be a negative thing. It's how you take approach to it. He said some people are living better now during COVID-19 than they were before. On the training that I had yesterday, Johnny was like, hey, some people are collecting unemployment and making more money on unemployment than what they were when they were working. So why go to work? Why do anything different? And they can be fine. Those people can be where they need to be. But that's the difference is how are we looking at a situation? Are we allowing certain things to dictate us from not pushing forward and not being the best that we can be in a situation? Are we allowing something that we did not expect? Whether you want to believe it, conspiracy theorists or whatever, I'm not getting into that. This happened. We have to adapt and overcome. So COVID's allowing certain things to take place. How many people didn't get up in the morning to go to church because they were running behind or they just didn't want to get up? But now you don't even have to go to brick and mortar building. You could stream it on your TV through YouTube or through the website or Facebook Live. Even though physical contact or physicality being in front of somebody is very different than a Zoom or a FaceTime. But guess what? Now birthdays, you don't have to buy a plane ticket to fly from A to B when you can do a Facebook Live, Instagram Live, or an event on Facebook and celebrate somebody's birthday. Yes, you're not there with them, but you get to see it. So taking a positive and turning into a negative, the why of why we want to do certain things makes it a lot easier to go do it and push it. I was listening to another training last week, and a Filipino girl said she's not a little girl. When she first came and started doing Wells Financial Group, she wanted to make $10,000 in 1 month. And she did. And then she was able to send her dad back to the Philippines to see his mother. That was her why, and she accomplished it. So why do I say that? Because the girl didn't have educational background. She didn't have college. She just started doing a business that she believed in, saw the value in it, and went after what she went after. And that means if she had to talk to 300 people to get the 20 people to sign up and do business with her to allow her to make the money she was going to make to send her dad to the Philippines, that's what she did. That's her why. So it goes back to the premise of what I've been saying this whole time. Are you going to let people stop you from doing what you want to do, or are you going to go do it? So what if you ask one of your friends, hey, you want to come do this? Or, hey, I'm doing this. You want to buy from me? We should be supporting each other anyways. That's what we should be doing. However, we know how that goes. You don't always get that. So what is it? Are you going to let those people stop you from doing it? No. And that's something I need to learn to get over. You know what I'm saying? Like I said earlier, I don't talk to certain people, so I don't want to hit them up. But you know what? Forget that. forget that. You know why? Because if you're trying to offer something that's going to help them out, they should be able to listen. If they don't want to listen, then forget them too with that. Not saying that we can't be friends. Not saying that we still won't be friends. No, we still be friends, but I already know where you're at. So guess what? Not going to waste my time. At least I did my part. But the last thing you want is not to ask or talk to people about something or reach out to everybody to help you get to where you want to be. And then you don't get everybody. And then one person says, well, I would have helped you. Why didn't you ask me? Which taught me, I learned this lesson my first time in recruiting. I was passing out business cards in front of McDonald's on 149th by 3rd Avenue. On 3rd Ave. And, you know, there's a guy in a wheelchair. So me going off what I was taught, blueprinting, you know, looking at somebody, you're overweight, or, you know, this guy was in a wheelchair. Obviously, he had issues. Yeah, I think he only had one leg. So he clearly cannot join the Navy. But the guy says, why didn't you give me a business card? I said, well, sir, you don't really qualify to join the Navy. He said, you're right, I don't. But what if I have a nephew or a cousin, or I know somebody that can join? By you not giving me a card, you're losing an opportunity to know if I know somebody or not. And I said, man, you're right. So I gave him the card. But he taught me a lesson that I wasn't looking at. You know, don't judge. Well, first of all, I could judge the book by its cover in that aspect because he was disabled. But closed mouth don't get fed. Like Troy says, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So back to the why thing. Find out whatever your goal is in life, where you want to be, what you want to do, where you want the outcome to be. And then push hard to get to that outcome. And don't let anything stop in your way. Don't let anything prevent you from getting there. Reach out to the people close to you to help you get there. Ask for ideas, meet new people. Because nobody's going to take care of you but you. And nobody's going to give you what you need. You got to go out there and get it. And once you go out there and get it, then it's on you then you do everything possible to get it. So whatever that why is, get your potential. Get out there. Do what you got to do. Make sure you hit it. And don't let anybody stop you. Don't be scared to talk to people. Don't be scared to reach out to everybody. Don't be scared to go to people and say, hey, this is what I'm thinking about doing, you know, and see what they say. Market yourself. Put yourself out there. And don't let this pandemic or this situation dictate what you can and cannot do. Because it doesn't stop us completely. It might slow us down. It might throw obstacles. It might be something we have to overcome in different manners, but it's not going to stop the progress of what you have. So that's my message for this week. The why. Find your why, your purpose, the bigger picture, like my mom says, and then you go to work for that bigger picture. You push to get to that bigger picture, that why. If that why is to buy yourself a car, go do what you got to do to get that car. If that why is to write a book, write a book. Sit down and do it. But don't stop, and don't let things change you or deter you, or the naysayers stop you, or negativity prevent you. Keep believing in yourself and push forward for that why. So that's this week's message. Also, like I said, if you want to read a book, Elucidations is a good book. I've been saying it. It's on Amazon, Elucidations. Also, my son, like I said, has his EP out on Apple and Tidal. So if you, and SoundCloud. So if you want to support, I'm trying to find his name right now. Is it BX Menace _ Frankie? So BX Menace Frankie. And that's his name. Go support. Check his music out. It's on actual Apple. I just followed him. So it's at BX Menace Frankie all together. And you'll be able to see him. And, you know, go support. Share his music. Give him some critiques. Let him know what you think. You know, if he's putting himself out there, he needs to understand people are going to give him that business. So go ahead and support. Like I said, BX Menace Frankie and my boy's book, Elucidations. Go cop it, support it. It's a good read. It's positive, motivational. Go support it. that's it for me this week. Thank you for listening to Frank's Unsolicited Advice.